Are you a technical founder? Ask yourself this. Are you truly building a startup or just writing code for a product that will quietly die? Many brilliant engineers fail, not because of a lack of talent, but because they misunderstand the battle they're entering. Startups aren't playgrounds for testing new frameworks. They are brutal grounds where every line of code is weighed against time, money, and survival. There will come a time when you must build a prototype in 48 hours, demo to users while bugs are everywhere, and carry the loneliness of mounting tech debt. Can you endure it? If your mindset is still, build the product for the CEO, this video will be either a wake-up slap or the early period at the end of your founder dream. So who is a true technical founder? And how do they survive, break through, and avoid killing their own company from line 1 of code? It starts with the one essential thing, the role you must carry on your shoulders. Part 1. The journey of a technical founder, from circuit boards to core DNA. No one starts a company with just a line of code. A technical founder is not just a coder, they are the spark. When an idea has no form, they are the conductor of the technical orchestra, playing the violin, beating the drums, and wiring the electricity. Startup life demands more than coding skills. It requires devotion, grit, and recklessness. This person never asks, "Is this part of my job?" They ask, "How do I get this running by tomorrow?" The biggest difference between a technical founder and a great programmer is ownership thinking. A great dev asks, "Which part is mine?" A technical founder asks, "How do we make this real?" They don't wait for specs, they create them. No one assigns them a mission, they forge one. They lay the technological foundation, but they're also the first to talk to users, absorb every piece of feedback, and rewrite what they once thought was perfect. That loop is survival. In the early days, the technical founder builds everything: back-end, front-end, website, dashboard, analytics system, even team email accounts. This is the stage where they shoulder every technical role. There's no room for complaints. No such thing as, "I don't know how to do that." The attitude is, "I'll learn it, I'll try it, and I'll build it." They understand that the value they create doesn't lie in how elegant the code is, but in how fast they can create something useful. You may come from a big company where code gets 3 rounds of review and every line is pristine. But in a startup, perfection is the enemy of speed. Technical founders must get comfortable with chaos, messy code, broken structures, duct tape logic, as long as it runs, demos, and excites. In the startup world, what you need is motion. You don't have time to architect perfectly. You have to fight. You have to ship. Progress comes from action, not hesitation. Startups are not about building software, they're about solving problems. A technical founder knows tech is the means, not the end. A good founder never asks, "What do I want to build?" but always asks, "What's hurting users and how can I fix it with tech?" That mindset turns a coder into a value creator. Code is not for showing off, it's for serving. There's no technical romance, only effectiveness and relevance. A real technical founder doesn't hide behind a screen. They go out, talk to users, lead demos, accept blunt feedback, and go back to rewrite everything. They don't fear criticism, they fear learning nothing. That mindset is the real differentiator. Startups don't die from bad code, they die from not understanding users. And the technical founder is the most critical bridge between product and customer. They don't just build something that runs, they build something that touches real needs. As a technical founder, you're not just writing code, you're writing reality. You're not just building features, you're building a future. Every line of code today could be the first step toward a $1 million company. But more importantly, it's a signal of relentless forward motion, despite hardship, scarcity, or doubt. A technical founder is the first to believe, the first to act, and often the last one standing when the dust settles. That is the mission. Part 2. The warrior mindset of a technical founder. No one becomes a technical founder just because they can code well. They become builders because they're willing to carry the whole weight. The core mindset is, whatever it takes, as long as the product moves forward. It sounds simple, but it requires extreme commitment. One day you'll write APIs, the next you'll fix DNS, and late at night you'll debug a dead server. No complaints, no blame, just action. You are rooted in the mission, not for glory, but because you know what you're building matters. The not my job mindset is a silent killer in startups. An engineer at a big company might skip UX design because that's the designer's role. But for a technical founder, there are no such boundaries. If no one's doing it, you do it. Do it until someone else can take over. The startup mindset is the warrior's mindset. No picky battles, no avoidance. If something needs doing to move the product forward, you jump in without hesitation. No one pushes you. You light your own fire. A technical founder must not get trapped in the technical bubble. The startup world won't wait while you optimize code by 3% or clean up logic lines. The difference between those who succeed and those who waste time lies in understanding what truly matters. Beautiful code that no one uses is failure. Scrappy code that solves a real pain is victory. That's why founders must let go of blind perfectionism. Embrace flexibility, pragmatism, and the courage to ship the imperfect. At the start of a company, you'll find yourself doing things you never imagined, setting up servers, designing UI, writing help docs, supporting customers, even making sales calls. That's not a sign you're lost, it's a sign you're on the right path. A technical founder doesn't wait for support, they create the tools others rely on. The strength lies in doing even what you hate, because behind every nameless, thankless task is a step closer to the startup dream. Startup thinking has no room for "I'm only good at one thing." A great technical founder is full stack, not just in the tech stack, but in mindset. They understand the product from the user's point of view, know how to measure data, grasp the basics of business, and dive into whatever area needs help. Startups don't need you to be an expert in everything, but they do require that you fear nothing. Versatility, grit, and initiative are the keys to surviving the brutal early days. The most important skill of a technical founder isn't coding, it's decision-making under uncertainty. You'll always be in a state of not sure, not enough, not clear. But you still have to decide, build this or that, rewrite or not, launch now or next week. The cost of indecision is a stalled startup. Engineers wait for more data. Founders know it'll never be enough. So you decide, you act, and you fix later. That's the mindset of a trailblazer. A true technical founder understands this. You can't wait for validation. No one will come tell you you're doing it right. There are no pats on the back. Confidence must come from within, forged through action. Every time you deploy, launch, talk to users, test a hypothesis, you move forward. That initiative is survival. Waiting is a slow death. You must be the one who starts everything. Do it before being asked, solve it before it becomes a problem. Be proactive or fail. The warrior mindset in startups isn't about sprinting fastest, it's about never stopping. You'll get tired, you'll feel like there's nothing left. But a great technical founder keeps coding, keeps debugging, keeps refining the tiny details even when no one sees. No spotlight needed, just persistence. Startups aren't a speed race, they're an endurance match. And if you can keep the energy, keep the fire, you'll be the one who survives when others quit. That's the mark of a true technical leader. Part 3. Ideating, building prototypes at lightning speed. In the startup world, ideas only matter when they become something tangible, something to see, touch, or experience. That's why the first phase, ideating, is not the time for lengthy documents or grand vision decks. What you need is a prototype, fast. The faster the better. Ideally, within a few days. Why? Because startups can't afford to guess. You need something to show to users, get feedback, and iterate. If you don't build, you don't learn. A prototype is not a product, it's the first broken shard of a dream. It doesn't need to be perfect, feature-rich, or even well-coded. It just needs to be demo-able. A fake button, a simple flow, a 3D mockup, a terminal script that simulates functionality. These are your tools to poke the mind of your users. The goal isn't to sell, it's to observe reactions. A prototype is a founder's radar. It detects signals, captures feedback, and validates intuition. The sooner you have one, the faster you move. You may think, how could I possibly build a prototype in a day? But that's exactly the kind of challenge successful founders accept. Because they understand speed is a competitive advantage. To prototype fast, you must set aside your technical ego. Don't build from scratch. Don't optimize. Don't perfect. Instead, use Figma for UI mockups, simple scripts for back-end logic, and pre-built tools for visuals. Don't try to be clever. Be practical. You're not building a castle. You're pitching a tent to find your promised land. Many success stories start with prototypes no one believed in. Entire companies have pivoted within days of rebuilding from scratch. And they won because they were willing to ditch the old and build the new, fast, boldly, without regret. This mindset is critical. Don't get attached to your first prototype. It's not your child, it's a learning device. If users don't respond well, scrap it, start over, make it faster, make it leaner, make it closer to reality. Clinging to early prototypes leads to delusion. There are 3 common prototype types for different kinds of startups. 1. If you're building user-facing software, create a UI prototype in Figma or InVision. 2. If you're building developer tools, a simple terminal script may be enough. 3. If you're building hardware or deep tech, a 3D render or simulation video can do the job. The key is, make something people can see, feel, or react to. And remember, a good prototype doesn't have to be pretty. It just needs to make the user say, I get what you're trying to do. The number 1 mistake in prototyping is building too much. Many technical founders fall into the trap of, I just need one more feature, and never launch a first version. They waste weeks or months chasing something whose value hasn't been validated. Here's the truth. Users don't care how long it took to build. They only care if it solves a real problem. So don't try to showcase your long-term vision in a prototype. Show the core value. If you don't, you're just displaying skills, not delivering value. The next mistake is fear. Fear of putting the prototype out there. Technical founders often think it's not good enough to demo, or it's not worthy of being seen yet. But in reality, the longer you keep it in the dark, the faster it dies. Startups don't fear criticism. They fear silence. If you don't test your prototype, you're shooting yourself in the foot. Users will give you insights, direction, and even pivot ideas you never considered. Don't fear negative feedback. It's growth fuel if you're ready to listen and adapt. A prototype doesn't need to work right, it just needs to spark the right emotion. Real-world examples prove it. Some products were no more than a JavaScript snippet in a Chrome console hosted on S3 with no UI, but users still said, "This is cool, I want this." Or a video simulating a fake flow. Or a 3D render, not yet printed. Don't wait for a back-end, database, or polished UI. Trigger the user's imagination. Let them see the future, even if you've only got a sliver of it today. Great founders use prototypes to ignite team momentum. When you go heads down and get something working, it lights a fire. People can see what's being built. It's no longer an idea. It has shape. More importantly, it starts drawing in early users. That's the moment you feel the shift from dream to product. A prototype is not just a learning tool, it's a symbol of belief, the belief that keeps you moving forward. The conclusion of the ideating phase is clear. Don't just think, build. Don't perfect, start. Don't wait for a full team, do it yourself. Because in the process of prototyping, you will learn more than any course could teach you. You'll understand your product better, your users better, and most importantly, yourself. Technical founders don't succeed because they're great coders. They succeed because they move from idea to action with extreme speed. And the prototype is the first hammer that smashes through every barrier. Part 4. MVP. A version that can sell, not one that's perfect. After your prototype shows promising signals from users, the next step is building the MVP, minimum viable product. This is a major turning point, marking the shift from idea to real, usable product. But an MVP is not a polished product. It's the simplest version that works and delivers core value to users. Don't cram in everything. You must answer one critical question. Are users willing to use this and commit to it? Many technical founders make a huge mistake here. They believe the MVP must be professional, refined, and nearly commercial grade. But the truth is, the MVP isn't meant to impress. It's meant to test assumptions. It exists to answer one question. Does anyone actually need this? The MVP can be ugly, clunky, incomplete, as long as it solves a real part of a real problem. More importantly, it helps you learn. Learn about users, about your solution, about the product's breaking points. If you build your MVP like a showroom, you're walking into a trap. A good MVP doesn't need a large team. It just needs people who deeply understand the product. That's why founders themselves should build the MVP. Hiring engineers at this stage can slow everything down. You waste time recruiting, onboarding, explaining, when you're the one who knows the product best. When you code the MVP yourself, you understand every corner. More importantly, you gain deep insights no one else can pass on. Insights come from doing, not delegating. You don't need a complex system to build an MVP. Do things that don't scale. Handle back-end tasks manually. Enter data by hand. Send emails from a personal Gmail account. Your goal isn't to optimize, it's to get something live. Some successful companies started with just a landing page, a Google form, and a spreadsheet. But through smart manual processes, they launched quickly, learned rapidly, and improved consistently. Agility is your greatest asset at this stage. Don't sacrifice it in the name of professionalization. There's a golden rule when building MVPs. Apply the 90-10 principle. Build 10% of features that deliver 90% of value. Don't try to complete every user flow or account for every edge case. Find one painful problem users really want solved and build the leanest version that hits that pain directly. You can limit by region, by user type, or by data scope, as long as you create something that works and can be tested in the real world. Startup is a speed game. Perfection is a killer of both time and spirit. The temptation will creep in. Let me just add this one more thing, or I'll clean up the code before launching. But every time you delay the launch to build more, you delay learning from the real market. Startups don't survive on beautiful code. They survive on real feedback. And real feedback only comes when real users get their hands on the product. Don't trade learning time for polish. Build it well enough, launch, gather feedback, and improve. No MVP is perfect, only timely. In the real world, the most successful MVPs are often crude. One startup used a basic API to store files, but they hit the user's pain point perfectly and landed a big customer. Another startup used Google Docs as an admin dashboard and processed every order manually. But they responded quickly, and users didn't mind. In fact, they felt well cared for. Here's the key truth. Users forgive simplicity, but they don't forgive delay. Speed, system. There's a dangerous moment. You launch the MVP and get positive feedback. You think, wow, people seem to like it. So you start hiring, scaling, building more features. Hold on. This is a trap. Excitement can make you careless. Positive feedback isn't commitment. You need proof through behavior. Are users actually using it, paying for it, coming back? If not, you have nothing. Keep iterating, improving, and keeping things small and controlled. Still want to hire more people? Wait until the MVP is live, has real users, and shows signs of growth. And when you do hire, don't just chase polished resumes. Look for misfits, people who don't need guidelines, who don't need rigid processes, who see something that needs doing and dive in. During the MVP phase, you don't need the best engineers. You need the most adaptable. People who will write ugly code to get results, who will sleep less to fix hot bugs, who will set ego aside to reach the goal. That's the real startup spirit. MVP is where you learn what truly matters to users. Don't just build features, watch how users use them. What they don't touch is even more valuable than what they do. The things they repeatedly ask for or work around on their own, those are golden insights. Think like a battle strategist. Watch where users naturally move, not where you want them to go. The MVP isn't to prove how smart you are, it's to show where you're wrong and how wrong. Whoever learns faster, wins. The MVP is not the finish line, it's the start of a relentless loop. Build, launch, feedback, iterate. The faster you cycle through this loop, the closer you get to product market fit. And the best starting point? A small, simple MVP that works and has real users. A great technical founder is not the one who builds a massive system, but the one who gets the first version into the real world, gathers real feedback, and acts fast. The startup lifecycle begins with that single brave decision. Part 5. Tech stack. Built for battle, not for show. Tech stack is a double-edged sword. Choose well, and you fly fast. Choose poorly, and you'll be crushed by what you've built. Many technical founders fall for the lure of cool technologies, trendy frameworks, or setups modeled after big tech. But startups don't need grand systems. They need something that runs as soon as possible. Every day spent learning a new language is a day not spent getting closer to users. You don't win with elegant code, you win with the speed of delivering value. There's a meme in the dev community called the mid-wit meme. Junior engineers use PHP and JavaScript. Mid-level ones mock that and chase microservices, Kubernetes, Prometheus. But senior engineers circle back to PHP and JavaScript because they know Simple is fastest. A good technical founder doesn't pick a stack because it's advanced. They pick what helps ship product. Learn the fancy stuff later. For now, choose what you already know, what builds fast, what's easy to fix, and what you're not afraid to throw away. That's a smart choice. Remember, you're not building for 10 million users. You're trying to find your first 10. So don't scale too early. Don't design for the future when the present is still uncertain. Distributed systems, multi-threading, caching layers, these sound powerful, but are meaningless if no one uses your product. What you need is fast iteration, not perfect architecture. Speed is your survival weapon. Instead of building everything from scratch, leverage existing tools and platforms. Firebase, Supabase, Auth0, Stripe, Vercel, Heroku, Webflow. These exist to help you move fast. Some might complain, these tools cost money. But ask yourself, how much is your time worth? How much more is the opportunity cost? A smart technical founder uses leverage. You don't have to build everything. You just need to build the one thing that matters. A real-world example. One startup used Django plus Heroku plus Postgres, a dead simple stack. But they launched fast, iterated hard, and landed their first major users in 3 months. They didn't need a fancy system. They needed user insights, and their stack allowed them to move fast enough to get them. A good tech stack is one you deeply understand, can fully control, and can iterate in hours, not weeks. Don't build a system you're scared to touch. Pick one you're bold enough to ship with. A classic mistake of technical founders is trying to mimic big tech. Facebook uses React GraphQL, so we should too. Or, Google runs hundreds of microservices, let's do the same. No, they do that because of their scale. You are not there yet. Copying big tech models is the fastest way to kill your flexibility. Remember, you don't need a marble hallway, you need a dirt path that leads somewhere. Copy the right thing at the right time. That's the sign of a sharp mind. In the early stage, you will throw away code, and that's okay. You might rewrite your backend, switch UI frameworks, or move from monolith to microservices after reaching product market fit. But there's one thing you must not mess with too soon: the user-facing interface, API, SDK, UI logic. That's what your users are familiar with, have integrated with, and invested in. Build however you like under the hood, but keep that interface stable. What you protect is the experience. The inside can be rebuilt. Your tech stack is not for bragging, it's your weapon for survival. Choose wrong, you'll stall. Choose right, you'll fly. And right doesn't mean modern, it means fit. Fit for you, your team, your velocity. You don't need a sexy stack, you need a real one. One you can use, understand, debug, and deploy. A great technical founder doesn't get seduced by trends. They know the best weapon is the one you know how to wield, even if it's old, outdated, or unpopular. In short, choose your stack to run, not to show off. Pick it to fight, not to chit-chat in dev groups. The stack doesn't need to be fancy, it needs to work. Don't optimize for elegance, optimize for learning cycles. And remember, if your product has users, you can fix every technical mistake later. But if it has no users, even the most perfect stack can't save it. The stack is a tool. The value you create is what decides whether you live or die. Part 6. Launch, into the field, take hits, learn fast. You've built your MVP, now it's time to take it into the battlefield. Launch is not an event, it's a process. A repeating cycle. Introduce, listen, adjust, repeat. In startups, launch isn't about making an announcement. It's the start of the real learning loop. Here, you don't learn from blogs or theory, you learn from actual user behavior. Where they click, where they stop, why they bounce. That's gold, and you must be ready to capture every bit of it. A battle-ready technical founder never launches blindly. They always prepare data tracking systems. It doesn't have to be complex, just accurate. Mixpanel, Amplitude, Google Analytics, use whatever works, as long as you track your key KPIs. You need to know if users are engaging, what retention looks like, and where the funnel is breaking. Don't wait until things are stable to start tracking. Do it from day one. Without data, you're flying blind. A good founder makes decisions based on data, not gut feelings. But data alone isn't enough. You must listen to users. The launch phase is when you need to be out there the most. Call them, message them, email them, schedule chats. Do whatever it takes to hear real voices speaking real thoughts about your product. And don't ask, do you like this product? Ask, what do you use it for? When do you stop using it? Would you recommend it to someone else? These questions reveal what numbers can't. Soft data unlocks deep insight. Harsh truth: launching doesn't guarantee success. You may be met with silence, no users, no feedback. But that's not failure, it's feedback. And that feedback is more valuable than praise, because it tells you the product hasn't hit the mark. A great founder doesn't get angry at user silence, they get curious. They dig through data, follow up with every user, tweak every word. Launch is not the end of building, it's the beginning of learning. Whoever learns faster, wins. Here's a real story. A startup launched with a B2C payment model similar to Venmo. But no one used the chat feature, no one cared about the slick UI. The only thing users actually used was the API. They investigated and discovered their biggest customer was a crowdfunding platform that just needed efficient payments. So they deleted the UI, removed all features, and pivoted to an API-first payment platform, and that's when they grew. Launch teaches this. What you think users need and what they actually need are often worlds apart. A strong technical founder doesn't launch and rest, they launch constantly. A new build every week. Each release is a marketing opportunity. This doesn't just fuel growth, it energizes the team. The team sees that they're making real change. Users feel heard. One startup launched 5 times in a single month. Each launch brought improvements, user input, and sharper focus. Launch isn't a one-off, it's the heartbeat of a startup. The steadier the pulse, the more alive the product becomes. You must deeply understand this. Launch is not about showing off, it's about learning. Every update is a tested hypothesis. Every version asks the market a question: do you need this? And users answer with actions, not words. A technical founder must be sharp enough to read the signals. Don't make excuses to protect your ego. If users aren't using it, something has to change. No drama, no blame, just iterate. Don't cling to what you like, hold on to what users actually need. After launching, something surprising will happen. You'll be overwhelmed by bugs, feature requests, and tech debt. What do you tackle first? Fix bugs or build new things? A sharp technical founder classifies issues. Which bugs are critical? What affects user experience? What can wait? Tech debt is normal. Don't panic. Every good startup goes through burnt toast code phases. What matters is choosing the right battle. Sometimes, one small UI bug is less important than shipping a new feature that improves retention. Always ask, does this bring us closer to product market fit? You'll also encounter tough users or complex tech cases that make you want to rewrite everything. Stop. If you haven't hit PMF, don't refactor heavily. Systems will keep changing. Every time you rewrite just to clean it up, you're wasting precious time. Embrace chaos. Ugly code is fine, so long as it ships, gets measured, and teaches you something. The winning technical founder is not the cleanest, but the one who can handle heat. Accept imperfection to reach the right direction. In short, launch is a continuous act. It's the lifeblood of a startup. It doesn't need fanfare. It needs data, dialogue, and clarity. A technical founder doesn't hide in the codebase. They're on the front line, listening, deciding, iterating. They know nothing is perfect out of the box. Everything needs refining, and only the market knows how to sharpen it. Launch, learn, adjust, launch again. That's the survival loop. Whoever keeps that rhythm alive pulls their startup out of the death zone. Part 7. Technical debt and the low flame mindset for long-term heat. In the acceleration phase, technical debt is inevitable, and the most important thing is not to panic about it. Technical debt is not a stain. It is the natural byproduct of moving fast. You build quickly, iterate fast, and leave behind bits of rushed code. That's the price you pay to learn faster than the market. A great technical founder isn't the one with spotless code. It's the one who knows when to tolerate mess to gain momentum. That is true battle-tested maturity. Not every bug needs fixing. Not every block of code needs refactoring. The real question is, what's blocking the user experience? A small visual glitch might go unnoticed, but a missing feature that causes users to churn must be solved immediately. A technical founder must master prioritization. Don't let perfectionism slow you down. Learn to live with fire, because if you try to put out every blaze, you'll never have time to move forward. A real example: one product gained millions of users right after launch, but the server couldn't handle the load. Users couldn't log in. The system kept crashing. Instead of rewriting everything, the team patched tactically to keep the system barely breathing while scaling the infrastructure slowly. The result? They didn't lose users, and growth continued. Sometimes the right approach isn't to rebuild, it's to contain the fire strategically. You don't need to fix everything now. You just need to keep moving without collapsing. A technical founder must develop decision-making skills under pressure. When bugs pile up, user requests flood in, team feedback pours down, and product-market fit still isn't clear, you must stay calm. Don't drown in technical debt and forget the bigger goal, product-market fit. Always ask, will fixing this bring me closer to PMF? If the answer is no, set it aside. A technical leader is not the one who fixes everything. They are the one who chooses what matters most to fix first. Here's a hard truth. Every startup has technical debt, and most don't die because of it. Startups die because they have no users. Clean code won't save a product nobody needs. So be okay with dirty code if it helps you launch faster, measure better, and improve quicker. Once you have PMF, real users, and real revenue, you'll have the time and resources to re-architect. Don't do it the other way around. Rewrite too soon, and you may never ship the first version at all. Surviving the technical chaos phase is a critical life skill. It's not about technical knowledge, it's about attitude. You must get used to everything being not quite right while still building forward. You must accept imperfection in exchange for speed. You must look at a mess of code and say, "This is fine, I'm still in control." That's why a technical founder doesn't need to be the most brilliant developer, but they must be the mentally toughest. Heat doesn't burn the one who knows why they're standing in the fire. In short, technical debt is a natural part of the startup journey. Don't fear it. Don't run from it. Manage it. Like a race car, you know it will wear down, need new tires and engine tweaks. But that doesn't stop you from speeding on the track. A great technical founder doesn't avoid fire. They drive through it. They know what's urgent, what can wait, and what must be done now. That is the art of keeping the flame, not to burn out, but to light the way for the whole team. Part 8. Evolving the role from coder to builder of engineering culture. As a startup begins to show signs of growth, the role of the technical founder evolves. You are no longer the one who codes everything. You start becoming the one who shapes the engineering culture. This is a major psychological shift, from being the product maker to being the team builder. And this change is uncomfortable. You'll have to let go of things you once held tightly, every line of code, every design mock-up. Because what the startup needs now is not just someone who codes, it's someone who can replicate the culture of building. From 2 to 5 people, you'll still code about 70% of your time. But once your team grows to 6 to 10, that number drops to 30 to 50%. Beyond 10, you may barely have time to code at all. This reality catches many technical founders off guard. They think, I'm a good coder, I'll keep coding. But your role now is to free the team from dependency, to define direction, set standards, and inspire. From hands-on builder to leader of builders, that's a sign of maturity. A common mistake, technical founders refusing to take their hands off the keyboard. They continue doing everything themselves, convinced no one can do it as well as I can. But this mindset makes you the biggest bottleneck. The team can't grow. Progress slows. Decisions are delayed. A strong leader knows how to delegate, design systems, and instill trust. If you're the only one who understands the system, you haven't built a team. You've built a group of freelancers orbiting around you. Where do you begin when building your first technical team? Start with people, not tools. Don't hire because someone knows framework X. Hire for mindset. People who learn fast, take initiative, and are okay with writing ugly code if it gets things shipped. People who learn from mistakes, take ownership, and push products out. Your early tech team doesn't need to be elite. It needs to be scrappy. Hire people like you, not afraid to get their hands dirty, ready to fix anything to keep the product alive. You're not hiring to add headcount. You're hiring to scale velocity. And to do that, you must teach through words, actions, and your code base. Every line of code you write now becomes a teaching tool, not just functionality. It needs to reflect how you think, how you trade off, how you prioritize. Don't make your first hires guess how to work. Write short docs, pair program, review code with a builder's mindset. These are the bricks that form a strong engineering culture. One important point: don't hire based on perfect resumes. Many successful startups found gold in people rejected by big tech. Not because they lacked skill, but because they didn't fit the process. These are misfits, imperfect but battle-ready. In early stages, they are your ideal allies. Don't be seduced by credentials or keyword-heavy CVs. Look for people with guts, accountability, and just enough craziness to chase something no one has built yet. As your team grows, you'll face communication overhead. What used to be verbal now needs writing. What used to be a 10-minute fix now needs task planning. This shift is normal, and you must adapt. Learn to communicate clearly. Learn to delegate. Learn to manage conflict. If you don't, you become the barrier to your team's performance. Engineering culture doesn't happen by default. It needs a founder to shape it deliberately. That is your true new role. At this stage, you must choose. Do you want to be a technical architect or a VP of engineering? An architect keeps technical depth, defines systems, and codes critical paths. A VP of engineering focuses on people, hiring, process, mentoring. There's no right answer, only what suits you best. But you must choose. Don't try to do both once you've scaled. You'll do neither well. A mature founder knows when to let go so the organization can rise. Don't think stepping away from coding means losing technical skill. On the contrary, you're leveling up. From coding systems to building people who build systems. You'll learn to motivate, articulate technical vision, and make decisions under uncertainty. These skills determine the speed at which your team scales. You're still a technical founder. You're just not writing code anymore. You're building the people who do. Your role hasn't shrunk, it's expanded. You're no longer a lone warrior, you're leading the army. In short, the technical founder role isn't fixed, it evolves with the startup's journey. From coding every line, to building a team, to creating culture. Each phase demands a new mindset, and you must evolve for the company to grow. If you cling to your old role, you become the choke point. But if you learn, adapt, and let go at the right time, you become the foundation of a technical team that is not only skilled, but also aligned, proactive, and built for long-term battle. Part 9. Classic mistakes that kill technical founders early. Overbuilding and fear of feedback, a dangerous beginning. Many technical founders make a critical mistake from day one. They pour all their energy into building too many features without testing with real users. They believe a product is only ready when it's fully featured, which leads to overbuilding, a massive waste of time and resources that may never deliver real value. At the same time, they're afraid of feedback, worried about judgment, or avoiding negative responses. This fear stops them from learning from the market and adjusting early. Combined, these two habits often steer the startup off course before it even begins. Hiring at the wrong time and copying big tech, a formula for failure. Hiring the wrong people, especially too early, or people who don't match the startup stage, can cause cultural misalignment, vision drift, and burn cash fast. Startups need generalists, doers, and those ready to get their hands dirty, not just technically skilled people. Another trap is imitating big tech, from processes and tools to architecture. But big tech builds for scale. Startups need agility and speed. Copying their model too soon slows down product development and blinds you to the actual needs of your market. Fear of technical debt and lack of iteration, killing product evolution. Technical debt is inevitable early on. Being too afraid of it causes founders to delay shipping and get stuck in endless refactoring cycles. At the same time, a lack of iteration, build, measure, learn, is fatal. Great products evolve constantly through user feedback and real-world testing. Without fast iteration, products stagnate and quickly fall behind in a rapidly changing market. Technical debt doesn't kill startups, paralysis and a refusal to learn do. Fixing every bug and ignoring growth, a prioritization failure. Trying to fix every bug is a common trap. Not every bug matters. Fix the ones that block user experience or functionality. The rest can wait. Prioritize building value and driving growth. Many technical founders get so caught up in technical problems that they neglect marketing, distribution, and retention, critical for survival. A flawless product with no users is still a failure. Ignoring growth strategies is the quickest path to a dead startup. Not evolving and lacking organizational thinking, a growth bottleneck. As the startup grows, the technical founder must shift roles, from technician to strategist, from executor to enabler. Refusing to evolve means becoming the bottleneck. Also, failing to build basic organizational foundations, processes, cultural values, role clarity, leads to chaos as the team grows. Building an organization isn't just about people, it's about laying the groundwork for long-term, sustainable scaling. Part 10. The Battle-Hardened Philosophy of Startups. Startups aren't a job, they're a mission. You're not just writing code, you're changing how people live, work, and exist. A technical founder is not just a technician, they are the driver of a ship without a map. Every line of code is a step towards something that doesn't exist yet. And the only thing that helps you go the distance isn't the latest framework. It's the spirit of never stopping. When you believe your product can change the world, that's when you truly become a startup founder. The startup journey has no map, only a compass. Every day is an experiment. Every night is a self-check. Am I still heading in the right direction? A technical founder must learn to act without full clarity, make decisions with incomplete data, and ship without perfection. Speed is not just an edge, it's immunity against stagnation. You don't need to be right from the start, you just need to learn faster than the rest. Whoever iterates quicker owns the market. Speed is intelligence in the startup world. Startups aren't for the vague, they're for the bold. The battle-tested mindset is build, launch, learn, repeat. Don't chase trends. Don't get overwhelmed by pressure. Don't collapse under failure. You build something real, release it, learn from real reactions, and keep moving. Great technical founders breathe in that cycle. They're not afraid to be wrong, they're afraid to stop learning. They're not afraid of going slow, they're afraid of standing still. And they know every iteration brings the product closer to the truth the market demands. Don't idolize technology. Code is a tool, not a savior. The only thing that determines success or failure is whether you solve the right problem. Startups don't win because their tech stack is cool. They win because they solve the right problem at the right time in the right way. A good technical founder doesn't use tech to show off. They use it to serve. They know their users as well as they know their code base. And they build not out of passion, but out of belief. I'm solving something that makes people suffer every day. In the end, being a technical founder isn't just a role. It's a profound journey of self-evolution. From lone coder, to listener of the market, to builder of teams, to source of inspiration. You don't just build a product, you build yourself. Every line of code, every decision, every launch is a step on the path to becoming a true leader. And if there's one thing to hold on to through it all, it's the belief. We can change the world. Conclusion. You are a technical founder, not because you code well, but because you dare to stand where no one else will. In the chaos, the uncertainty, and the survival pressure. Startups aren't sandboxes, they're battlefields. You don't ship the prettiest thing, you ship the most necessary thing. Many will object, sloppy work is wrong, technical debt will kill the company. Sounds good, but startups don't die from bad code. Startups die from having no users. So ask yourself, will you build a castle in the desert or pitch a tent where there's water? This is not a game for perfectionists. This is a field for those who are bold, those who build first and fix later. So the final question is this: will you wait until everything is perfect, or will you start now? Thank you for watching the whole video. Please like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next videos.